The nominations for the 2026 Grammy Awards were just announced, and they're pretty questionable. I'm seeing a lot of the same songs in these categories, and in typical Grammys fashion, there are a bunch of snubbed artists from the official list of nominations. So today I will be going through multiple categories that I feel like I'm somewhat qualified to speak on and sharing what I would nominate. So if I don't talk about a category, it's probably because I wasn't versed enough on that genre, and if not, I thought the nominees for that category were fine as they are. And also, I'm not trying to put anyone down by saying they shouldn't be nominated. I'm trying to think of songs that were high quality and made a big impact. It's not just about my personal taste, and hopefully my thoughtful reasons will justify my criticisms. Anyhow, let's just get into the categories. Starting with one of the major categories, we have Record of the Year. The Recording Academy has nominated DTMF by Bad Bunny, Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter, Anxiety by Doechii, Wildflower by Billie Eilish, Abracadabra by Lady Gaga, Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA, The Subway by Chappell Roan, and APT by Rosé and Bruno Mars. Okay, first, let's go over the ones I wouldn't have nominated in this Record of the Year category. I'm going to take Anxiety out of this category first. I just don't think the engineering or production on this song is anything that impressive considering how heavily it relies on a sample. Maybe it can stay for Song of the Year, but when it comes to performance and production, I don't see Anxiety being a pick for this. Billie Eilish's Wildflower can go as well. Honestly, I'm not sure why this qualifies. If it was made into a single and promoted as a single in 2025, I guess that makes sense, but it's not like it had a way bigger moment this year with a music video or anything. I just feel like the Recording Academy just wanted to nominate Billie Eilish for something because why? And don't hate me, I know the Bad Bunny song is quite popular, but I found the production a little bit lackluster and boring on this song, so I wouldn't nominate it for Record of the Year either. I'm fine with APT being nominated for Song of the Year. It has a great melody and it's a fun song, but Record of the Year is about production and performance, and I don't think APT is that boundary pushing or substantially interesting production wise. And I wouldn't consider Rosé and Bruno's performance on it stronger than these other 4 songs that I would put in place of these. The first song I nominate might be surprising, but it's Illegal by Pink Pantheress. She is undeniably one of the main faces of Gen Z music, paving her own way in the industry. She has a signature style of production. I feel like I could hear an instrumental and quickly be able to clock it as a Pink Pantheress beat. I'm not saying she has a technically amazing voice or anything like that, but it's unique, different, and quite refreshing. And all of this that I just mentioned was especially highlighted in Illegal. That song is a quintessential Pink Pantheress song. I love its immersive, quirky production, Pink's mix of melodic and spoken vocals, as well as the catchy lyrics and the melody of the song. It's a high quality record, definitely one of the best this year. It even had a huge moment in culture with the sound going viral within short form content. And even though you could qualify it as a TikTok song, the quality and innovation that comes with Illegal is undeniable. And again, if this category is about production and performance, I really think Gnarly by Cat's Eye deserves to be here. Vocally, the song is done extremely well. It's the opposite of one note. The production on the song is boundary pushing, and it's clearly starting trends, especially in K-pop. Gnarly brings energy, uniqueness, and impact. And I know that dancing doesn't really matter when it comes to the Grammys, but I almost see the dance and the song as one when it comes to Gnarly, meaning that one would not be as big without the other. So I have to credit that incredibly catchy and memorable choreography when talking about this song's impact. The next song I'd put up for Record of the Year is Sticky by Tyler, the Creator. It's one of those songs everybody likes. I don't see much debate on the quality of the song. Sticky's production isn't overly complicated, but it still manages to be incredibly interesting. It was definitely one of the strongest collaborations to come out this year, and I think it should be recognized in a major category like Record of the Year. And the last of my nominees for Record of the Year would be Sports Car by Tate McRae. I've seen a lot of upset about her not being nominated for anything online. I don't love the album So Close to What. I feel like it's a bit on the generic side and just doesn't really apply to my taste. I like some of the songs, so it's fine. But compared to some of these other projects and artists nominated, not going to name names, I think Tate deserved at least one nomination this year. So for the Record of the Year category, I would throw in Sports Car. Tate's vocal performance on this song is really interesting. I also love the transitions on Sports Car. The way the song song goes from high-pitched vocals in the pre-chorus to the whispers in the chorus and then back to a low, sultry tone in the verses was done immaculately. Even the transitions within the beat is really interesting on this track. I definitely think Sports Cars should be up for Record of the Year. So with that, here are the original nominees that were put up by the Recording Academy, and now here's my list of what I personally think should be nominated. We have Man-Child by Sabrina Carpenter, Abracadabra by Lady Gaga, Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA, The Subway by Chappell Roan, Illegal by Pink Pantheress, Gnarly by Cat's Eye, Sticky by Tyler the Creator, and Sports Car by Tate McRae. Let's move on to the Best Pop Vocal Album category. This year, the Recording Academy has nominated Swag by Justin Bieber, Man's Best Friend by Sabrina Carpenter, Something Beautiful by Miley Cyrus, Mayhem by Lady Gaga, and I've Tried Everything But Therapy Part 2 by Teddy Swims. The nominees in this category are alright, but there's still two that I'm going to take out from this, and those two are Swag by Justin Bieber and the Teddy Swims album. I don't think either of those albums are impressive enough to be considered one of the best pop vocal albums of the year. There are much better albums to nominate in my opinion, and I also want to make it clear that I think Swag by Justin Bieber is just so over-nominated this year. In my opinion, that album has at max 5 alright songs, and the rest are pretty boring to me. On the other hand, Something Beautiful is a clear artistic vision, and all the songs complement Miley's vocal style quite well. Gaga never misses, including with Mayhem. It's a phenomenal project, and I felt like Man's Best Friend was a more mature sound and image from Short and Sweet. It evolves Sabrina without doing a full 180. Also, I really like all the songs from that album, so the girls can totally stay nominated, but the boys have to go. The first album I'm going to replace these albums with is Wishbone by Conan Gray. I thought this album was phenomenal front to back. Conan really shows off his vocal chops the most out of any other past album he's done on Wishbone. It really is his best work. Phenomenal songwriting and cohesion as well on this album. You can tell Conan had a vision and concept for this album and held true to that throughout the lyrics, world building in the music video, and even the tour visuals. It just seemed like a very thoughtful, well done album, and I definitely think the Recording Academy snubbed it. The second album I'd put up for Best Pop Vocal Album is Jade's That's Just Showbiz Baby. It was between this album, Gracie Abrams' The Secret of Us, and Adele's EP, The Provocateur, but out of these three, I think Jade's project has the best songs, the best vocals, and is the overall best fully fledged concept. It's a dynamic record that takes you on a musical journey. It's super well written, going over themes of love, the industry, and more. There's unexpected, experimental moments such as It Girl, Midnight Cowboy, and Unconditional, but there's also traditional songs like FUFN and Before You Break My Heart. I also want to compliment how Jade references artists from before in a way that feels so innovative on this album. I think That's Just Showbiz Baby is a phenomenal debut album, and Jade not being nominated for anything by the Academy feels like a crime. To refresh you, here are the Recording Academy's nominees for Best Pop Vocal Album. And now, here are my nominees. We have Man's Best Friend, Something Beautiful, and Mayhem, which were all also nominated by the Recording Academy. But with that, I've replaced Justin Bieber and Teddy Swims with Wishbone by Conan Gray and That's Just Showbiz Baby by Jade. For Best Rock Performance, the Recording Academy nominated You Should Not Be Doing That by Amyl and the Sniffers, The Emptiness Machine by Linkin Park, Never Enough by Turnstile, Murtazapine by Hayley Williams, hope I said that right, and Changes by Youngblood. The Best Rock Performance category is kind of a mess. I'm sorry, I thought the Youngblood cover of Changes from Back to the Beginning was well done, but why are we nominating an Ozzy Osbourne cover song for Best Rock Performance at the Grammys? It baffles me. So to replace that, I would nominate the version of Hurt by Dead Poets Society and The Warning. Both bands, Dead Poets Society and The Warning, are upcoming innovative rock acts that have steadily been gaining popularity. And they definitely have the talent to back up both of their rises with powerhouse vocalists and unbelievable instrumentalists. Both of these bands have been super impressive to me as of lately. Putting these two bands together on a song was a great decision that made for one of the best music collaborations this year. It's also just a super dynamic yet catchy song. I'm honestly pretty surprised the Recording Academy chose a song like Youngblood doing Changes over this song, but they're always on some weird shit there at the Recording Academy. We're also going to be replacing You Should Not Be Doing That by Amyl and the Sniffers. I haven't really been able to to vibe with their music yet. I think there's been much better rock songs that have come out this year. I kind of think this might allegedly be a band that the industry is trying to heavily push. Maybe I'm living under a rock or something, but the Grammy nomination, paired with how much I see news about this band, it just doesn't make sense how little I actually hear people talk about them or their music. Replacing Amyl and the Sniffers' nomination for Best Rock Performance will be Drum Show by 21 Pilots. I know The Contract was the lead single for their album this year, but I think Drum Show is a better song. It's on the heavier side for 21 Pilots, it's a hard-hitting record, and even Josh Dun added his vocals to the song. It's definitely my favorite song off of Breach, and I think it's well deserving of a nomination in this category. The Recording Academy also nominated The Emptiness Machine by Linkin Park, which I'll admit, I don't love it, but I get why it's here, so I'll keep it on the list as well. Linkin Park has had a huge year as they introduced their new vocalist, previously of the band Dead Sarah, Emily Armstrong. The Turnstile nomination also makes sense. I like that song. I'm fine with it staying here as well. Don't hate me for this. I love Paramore. I think Hayley Williams is one of the strongest female vocalists of our time, but I do have a hard time with her solo music sometimes. So I don't love this song, but I really like Hayley, and this is one of the best songs from Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. So even though I'd probably nominate something else if I was trying to predict who's gonna get nominated, I'm fine with this staying in the nominations. So we have the Recording Academy's picks, and then my picks for Best Rock Performance are The Emptiness Machine by Linkin Park, Never Enough by Turnstile, Mirtazapine by Hayley Williams, and then we're adding Hurt by Dead Poets Society in The Warning, and Drum Show by 21 Pilots. Now, let's jump into another major category, Best New Artist. The Recording Academy has nominated Olivia Dean, Cat's Eye, The Marias, Addison Rae, Somber, Leon Thomas, Alex Warren, and Lola Young. This isn't the worst category this year. I've seen people being upset about Cat's Eye being nominated because they haven't done enough, but honestly, I don't hate that nomination. With just a few songs, they have really made a splash and have been received super well on a global scale. So I'm keeping Cat's Eye nominated in my list. But one of these artists is not like the other, and it's not Cat's Eye, it's Alex Warren. He has one song and nothing else from his album made any noise. I definitely think Pink Pantheress deserves a spot in the Best New Artist category. I really respect Pink Pantheress as an artist because it feels like she's trying to innovate and create a new sound and production style. She has really carved out her own niche, which I respect tremendously, and vocally, there's no one in the mainstream right now that sounds quite like her. I think the reason she wasn't nominated by the Recording Academy is because she might be a little bit ahead of her time. But besides that, I think the category is perfect as is, so I'm keeping the Recording Academy's list the same, but swapping Alex Warren for Pink Pantheress. Let's go to the Song of the Year category. Nominated by the Academy is Abracadabra by Lady Gaga, Anxiety by Doechii, APT by Rosé and Bruno Mars, DTMF by Bad Bunny, Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA, Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter, Golden by Huntrix, and Wildflower by Billie Eilish. This is the same as Record of the Year, with the Subway being swapped for Golden by Huntrix from K-Pop Demon Hunters. So I'm wiping this whole category and only keeping 3 songs. I will keep Golden in my nominations. The way that song was able to grab a hold of the culture, mixed with every member of Huntrix's vocal talent, makes them really deserving of a nomination in my opinion. Also, Abracadabra can stay. That song has been going strong. It's a great record from Gaga. Mayhem was really a return to form for her, and this song especially seemed to go over so well. Then, since I took APT out of Record of the Year, I think it should stay nominated for Song of the Year for the reasons I explained earlier in this video. So we will be adding 5 brand new nominations. The first song I would nominate is Twilight Zone by Ariana Grande. After the snub the Recording Academy pulled with Eternal Sunshine, it was sickening to see them do the same thing to Eternal Sunshine Brighter Days Ahead. Twilight Zone was definitely one of my songs of the summer this year. Not only does it include Ariana's unmatched vocals, this song is just very heartfelt and moving for a pop song. The whole Eternal Sunshine project, especially Twilight Zone, is Ariana at her best when it comes to her songwriting. Something that the Academy doesn't seem to want to recognize. The next song I'd nominate is That's So True by Gracie Abrams. It's not like my favorite song ever, but I have to give it up to Gracie. This song really seems to have connected with her audience and beyond. For a while this year, this song was inescapable. If they're nominating Alex Warren for a Grammy, Gracie deserves a nod from the Recording Academy as well. I think That's So True is arguably Gracie's best written song, and the melody is absolutely infectious. I was really surprised to see no nominations for That's So True, or even Gracie Abrams in general. Another snubbed artist this year was Conan Gray. I think that his song Vodka Cranberry would be a perfect song to nominate in the Song of the Year category. My reason for choosing Vodka Cranberry for this category has to do with Conan's songwriting. In my opinion, with his music, Conan's biggest strength is his songwriting. He's one of the newer artists I would compare to Taylor Swift, and there's not many of those. With Vodka Cranberry, this song is filled with emotion and passion through the vocal performance, and the melody is one that's hard to forget, especially during the captivating chorus. This song is just simply Conan Gray at his best, and it's crazy that he got 0 nominations this year. Not only has the song blown this artist up, but it's a high quality, whimsical song that's unlike anything else in the mainstream right now, and it's Love Me Not by Raven Lenae. I just think it was super impressive for her to make such an interesting song off the simple he loves me not saying. The songwriting on this song is exceptional without sounding pretentious or overly complicated. The melody flows so well and it makes for a huge earworm. And the almost familiar melody kind of somehow gives the listener a sense of comfort when they listen to it. Love Me Not is a fascinating mix of modern pop music and older R&B. I really think this song should have gotten something this year when it comes to Grammy nominations, but instead Love Me Not was snubbed by the Academy. Then lastly, I want to include Back to Friends by Somber. This song has skyrocketed Somber into superstardom. Clearly, a lot of people connected with this song. It's different for right now, referential of the past for sure, but there's no one quite like Somber in the mainstream right now. And I think he should have been acknowledged in this category because Somber is a great songwriter, even though I don't think a lot of people really know that he's a writer. Anyways, Back to Friends, great song, definitely more deserving of a nomination than a few songs actually nominated by the Academy, if you're asking for my opinion. So with that, here are the Song of the Year nominations by the Academy, and here's what I would put up for Song of the Year. We have Abracadabra by Lady Gaga, APT, Roseanne Bruno Mars, Golden by Huntrix, Twilight Zone by Ariana Grande, That's So True by Gracie Abrams, Vodka Cranberry by Conan Gray, Love Me Not by Raven Lenae, and finally Back to Friends by Somber. And the last category I want to talk about is Best Metal Performance. The Recording Academy nominated Night Terror by Dream Theater, Lacrima by Ghost, I hope I said that right, Emergence by Sleep Token, Soft Spine by Spirit Box, and Birds by Turnstile. I'm not really mad about any of these picks specifically, but I would definitely nominate They're All Around Us by Poppy. Personally, I do like New Way Out more, but I don't know if that would qualify since it was released in the summer of 2024. But They're All Around Us did come out with this Grammy cycle. The impact Poppy has made in metal is insanely impressive. After following her and being a fan of her music since the Bubble Bath EP, I have loved watching Poppy come into this heavy sound and be respected for it. She made conceptual, experimental pop before, which made for some fun bops at the time, but the music Poppy is making now is experimental and conceptual, but her vocals are right where they need to be with a heavier sound. She just sounds so good in this style, and the screaming she does, especially All Around Us, is some of the best in the game right now. I don't love screaming in songs that much, but when Poppy does it, I eat it up. I am surprised the Academy didn't nominate her this year because they have before, and in my opinion, this latest album has some of her best work. If I had to choose one to switch out for the Poppy track, it'd probably be the Turnstile one, just to add some more variety to the nomination pool. And that concludes the categories I'm fixing. Honestly, there were a few snubs that annoyed me, but the Grammy nominations have been a lot worse in the past. For example, I thought the Album of the Year category was just fine as it is. Congratulations to everyone who was nominated, even if I said I didn't like your song. This is all just for fun. I don't think anyone takes the Grammys that seriously, so, I'm just trying to shoot the shit. Feel free to sound off in the comments and let me know what you guys think of these nominations. I love reading your thoughts. Anyhow, that's about it for today. Consider subscribing and giving this video a like. I really appreciate the support. Anyhow, till next time. Oh, and I just want to say Ariana Grande's Brighter Days Ahead was snubbed for Best Music Film. Okay, bye!